We fall deeply in love, we swear true love forever, and as we all know, it does not last. But does that mean that all couples are doomed? Hello, my name is Valdo Lallemand. I'm a relationship coach. I started The Vibrant Couple a year ago to further my purpose of liberating love through connection and playfulness. Today is an episode in our Becoming a Conscious Couple series talking about creating secure attachment. But what is attachment? As human beings, we're driven by our hopes and our fears. Hope that the true love we have found in our couple will last forever, and fear that, well, it is not going to last. Attachment theory was first coined in the 1950s by John Bowlby and further work by Mary Ellsworth. And basically they stated that attachment is not just for children. As adults, we need attachment, belonging, and autonomy. Some of us are afraid of being abandoned. We are focusing much more on our need for belonging, and we can easily become anxious in our relationships. And some of us are worried that we could lose our autonomy. We then become afraid of intimacy because intimacy could somehow rob ourselves from our autonomy, and we become avoidant. So attachment theory presents us with two axes, one with anxiety and the other with avoidance. Of course, we prefer to be low avoidance and low anxiety, and that's what secure attachment is. Secure people tend to have a strong sense of self-worth, tend to be comfortable in relationships, and have a high ability for interdependence. Means sometimes they go into deep intimacy, and sometimes they're autonomous. When we remain low on avoidance but go high on anxiety, we have anxiously attached people who basically are preoccupied. They are worried of losing the belonging. They are worried of losing the attachment. And as a result, become anxious. They always question whether their partner is with them. They become people pleasers as a way of keeping that attachment. And they also become codependent. When we remain low in anxiety but go high in avoidance, we are no longer afraid of losing intimacy like the anxious attached person would be. We become afraid of losing our autonomy. People who have an avoidant or dismissive attachment tend to feel trapped in relationships, tend to feel closed off, emotionally unavailable, and tend to be hyper independent. Some people have high anxiety and high avoidance. They tend to have deep trust issues. They tend to want deep intimacy at some moments, and then suddenly, and you don't even know why, they flip and they push you away. This is really crazy making, and this is not the point of this video. Actually, let me restate that. If this is your case, either you personally or more likely your partner, because typically people who have disorganized attachment styles do not know about it. If that is your case, then I invite you to go and look for a different strategy, which is better understanding disorganized attachment style that is often linked with borderline personality issues. For some of us, it's more anxiety. For some of us, it's more avoidance. And I'm pretty sure by now you have enough life experience to know that in some relationships, you show up secure. In some relationships, you show up anxious. And in some relationships, you show up as avoidant. Some of it is because of the anxious avoidant polarity of the dynamic in which we basically have one person is fight, which is the pursuer, and one person in flight, which is the avoider. The fight or flight are linked with our core wounds to our needs for belonging and autonomy. There is a third stress response, which is freeze, in which we become frozen, we become paralyzed. In many ways, we dissociate. Everybody has some freeze at some level, and when the freeze becomes high, it becomes a huge problem in a couple because it leads to a lot of misinterpretation. For example, something I see quite a bit is there is an anxious partner that basically pursues their partner who may be securely attached, but due to their trauma, they are in a freeze mode. They look like they are avoidant, but they are not. So I invite you to have basically meta conversation. You debrief what is going on overall in your relationship so that you can unearth whether what is going on is avoidance or freeze. So, how do you build secure attachment? There are lots of individual strategies. They are really important because it is important that we have two individuals becoming more and more secure by themselves, showing up to the relationship so the relationship can be more and more secure. So, first is track where each of you is on the attachment matrix. This is not the place to fool yourself that you are more secure than you think, or to pity yourself that you are more anxious or more avoidant than you think. This is the place to just say, hey, this is where I was at in that fight we had yesterday. Second, as the adage of the blind cannot lead the blind, when one is in a secure state, in a moment, you can make invitations to your partner who seems to be either anxious or avoidant so that they can earn secure attachment. So the key word is earn because this is something that can happen slowly but surely over time through your own individual work, in meditation, with your therapist, with your men's group, women's circles, and also in your couple. And this is why I'm insisting, and I named that series Becoming a Conscious Couple, because this is something that we can intentionally work on as a couple, inviting each other so that we can both earn that wonderful secure attachment that makes life a lot easier. Third, you work towards meeting your partner's needs. For example, if your partner is anxious and has a high need for reassurance because they're worried that you are not committed, you are not present to them and to the relationship, you give them that. Say, hey, darling, I'm here for you. Come, let me give you a big hug. If your partner tends to be avoidant, acknowledge their need for autonomy, their need for space, that of course you long to be connected with them, but you will not expect that until they are ready. Fourth, you let go of expectations of outcome. So of course this is for your partner because no one, when they're avoidant, wants to be forced to share vulnerably their feeling and what is going on for them. But this is also for you because becoming a conscious couple is a dance. It is very likely that you are working really hard to be in a secure place in a moment where your partner is either anxious or avoidant. So you letting go of expectations that you have going to have a very deep, intimate moment with your partner, very shortly, or your partner who is going to feel fully their sense of autonomy is really going to be beneficial for you in your own self-soothing, in your own earning secure attachment. Yes, it would be nice if your anxious partner were not to be so jealous if they were to be able to rewrite their own story, that when you interact with that colleague of yours, you're not trying to have an affair with them. And yes, it would be nice if that avoidant partner of yours were to push through the discomfort and choose to engage with you. However, that is on their own timeline. Last but not least, celebrate progress. As humans, we tend to be very focused on the negative, on what is not going well, on our problems, and of course, on what the other does to basically make our life miserable. So, of course, some couples that is true, but I'm hoping in your couple that some may be true in some situations, but in most situations it is mostly about poor habits, about misinterpretation, and also the weight of built-up resentment. So here, to counteract all these negative tendencies, learn to cultivate positive reinforcement. Celebrate what you want more of. What we appreciate appreciates. Here are a few resources that may interest you. First, the first video in the Becoming a Conscious Couple series, in which basically I lay out what a conscious couple is. Second video of the series is on curiosity, one of the key elements of becoming a conscious couple. The third video comes in on learning to fight as a team. We tend to fight basically against each other. So the idea is to learn to be playful with one's fight, learn to be more aware so that the fights, and of course we still have fights, but they are no longer divisive, painful, hurtful. They help us grow together as a couple. I trust if you're watching this video, happiness and couple happiness are important to you. I did a number of videos on emotional intelligence to help you better understand feelings and needs, how all our inner life works, and become more intelligent about it. And with my friend Monique, I did a number of videos on relationship tools so you can be more skilled with your partner. Last but not least, if you're still hungry to better understand attachment theory and how to create secure attachment with your partner, please hit the like button below and subscribe so you can be notified when I publish new juicy content. My next video will be on nervous system co-regulation, one of the most critical parts of becoming happier as a couple. I look forward to seeing you very soon.